Hey everybody, and welcome to another episode of Nerds with Friends. My name is Cody Leach. As always, I'm joined by Christian Garcia.
Hola.
Hola. And live via Zoom, we have a special guest today. Mr. Aaron Richter is joining us. How you doing, man?
We're doing good. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for coming on. So Aaron has a company called the Royal Speakeasy and deals with magic card proxies, and we'll kind of get into what that is and how they play into the game of Magic the Gathering. But before we get into that, please like and subscribe, obviously. Follow us on Stitcher, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, anywhere you do that. And also check out patreon.com/nerdswithfriends. Become a patron. Help us buy more proxies and magic cards. You know, that's something we need. And we do like to start the show off, Aaron, with a segment called Nerdy Confessions, where we confess the things that make us nerds. So we'll kind of start it off, and then you can kind of jump in with one of yours. Christian, what's your nerdy confession?
Sorry, cell phone.
Yeah, stop getting text messages during podcast time.
I'm too fucking popular, man. My nerdy confession actually just came from the shop that we like visiting, Anime Imports, and I love the place. The employees are awesome. They just never have stuff. I want to.
Sorry, they don't have an internet warehouse full of the cards you like.
I want to not spend my dollars at Card Kingdom, and nothing against the company, but I want to support small shops.
Yeah. But
it's just sometimes there's cards I want, and they don't have them. But my nerdy confession is that I'm trying to update one of the new decks that they recommended. It's Prosper
Tomebound.
Yes. I really like the deck.
From the Forgotten Realms, right?
Yeah.
Or is it Baldur's Gate?
It's
one of the D&D sets.
One of the D&D ones. It's a great commander deck. I love it. I just want to upgrade it. It's at least the 3 or 4 times I play with it. It's either super amazing or I'm not getting anything I need.
Yeah.
And it's really bad. So I'm trying to update that deck. And this is the first time I've ever done that to a deck that's already been created.
Yeah.
I don't know if I've talked about it on the show, but Cody knows I've made a couple decks. I have a werewolf one, a witch one, and a vampire one that I'm still trying to tweak. It's not working exactly the way I want it. And yeah, I wanted to buy all these great vampire cards there. They didn't have them, so I had to get them at Card Kingdom.
Yeah, I mean, I think the two of us really do our best to try to support the local game stores. So, like, they're not going to fault you if, this one time you order up from Card Kingdom. And I mean, Card Kingdom is they started off as a card shop. So, I think they're up in Seattle.
They're in Seattle.
Yeah. I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing as long as we always check with our local shops first, because honestly, a lot of times they're a lot cheaper at the local shops.
Yeah,
too.
they are.
So.
And they're great. I need to learn the guy's name, but we always get help by the same guy.
I want to say Dan was one of the guys. That might have been the guy at Game Castle, but yeah, Anime Imports, great shop. If you're local to the Bay Area, check out Anime Imports in Pacifica. They're very knowledgeable guys, and they're all super cool. And they've helped us out on our magic journey. My nerdy confession, I guess I'll keep it with the magic theme since we're talking with Aaron today. I've recently started researching competitive EDH or competitive Commander, which is a format of Magic Commander, and the kind of the mentality behind it is, there's no like, oh, I just want to see if this cool effect happens or whatever. It's like, no, I'm here to win as fast and as quickly and as efficiently as possible. And I'm also here to stop people from winning the game also. So it's a lot more like, mass land destruction. Like, oh, I'm going to just destroy everything you have and take all the cards out of your deck and mill you down to 0. And it's much more cutthroat, but also like the thing that I really enjoy about Magic, like my favorite thing is when you pull off a cool combo and something crazy happens,
Except for the combo of the video you showed me where this guy won in 1 turn.
I want to do that, Christian. I want to win in 1 turn.
We always play at my place. I think I'd kick you out if you could get out.
Hey man, that's just one more game of Commander we get. Like, oh, that was a quick 3-minute game while I made infinite mana and killed you with Crick, son of Yawgmoth.
I think if you pulled anything like that, I would call bullshit right away. Like, I would have to have 3 people who weren't playing that game
weigh in on it.
weigh in and be like, no, that's accurate.
I think that is kind of one of those things where some of those like turn 1, turn 2 wins are so ridiculous that they seem like they shouldn't be legal. But that's one of the fun things with Commanders. You have access to all these cards from almost the entire history of Magic, and the ban list is so small that you can really abuse certain things. So, yeah, I ordered. I'm building my first CEDH deck using some proxies, which we're going to be talking about today. So, because some of these decks are like in the thousands and thousands of dollars, and I don't have that, so going to be filling some holes, with some proxies. So
I feel like only like a Post Malone could probably.
Oh yeah, I'm sure he's got one. That guy Cassius Marsh, the football player guy who also owns a card shop. He's big into CEDH, so he's pretty cool. Aaron, how about you? What's a nerdy confession for you?
Well, first of all, back to those combos. I don't know. I guess 5 years ago, I had like a Captain Sasay deck with a Paradox engine in it before it was banned.
Oh,
And I would
nice.
go on these combos that just lasted like half an hour, and I was probably like the most hated person at my table because of that. You would tap it, and then I would be able to untap to say search my library. That
Yeah,
would take a while, and then I do it again. Yeah, it was ridiculous. So maybe
yeah. I think
practice those combos beforehand.
right. And I think a big part of
That's it.
anything with the competitive too is letting people at the table know, like, either, hey, this deck is about like it's going to go off if certain things happen. So, setting the expectations, and then also having maybe a backup deck that's not as fucking broken. I think
Yeah.
I think that's having another one to play casually with. But I'm definitely not going to tell Christian when I first bring that deck over. I'm just going,
Definitely. Yeah.
trying out this new thing and just
I'm pretty sure, like in turn 3, I'll know. Oh, that's the bullshit deck.
Mox Diamond, get out of here.
Yep, exactly. Yeah. For nerdy confession, I don't know. Like, I was trying to think while you guys were talking. It's the off season right now, but every weekend I watch disc golf. I love watching disc golf, like
I love
live
disc golf.
coverage.
This guy
I
plays.
love
Really?
disc golf. So yesterday I just ordered
Okay.
a Paul Macbeth signed disc. They
Really?
went up on
Okay.
sale and they were sold out in like 5 minutes, but I managed to get one. So yeah,
Nice.
I got into disc golf last year around this time, honestly. And like I go every weekend now up here. So that's
Oh, nice.
that's pretty funny. Are there good
Yeah.
courses down there near you?
There are good courses. Unfortunately, they're like 30 minutes away from where I live.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of like in the middle of like 5 courses.
Hey, that's not bad though, because I mean, so here in San Francisco, we do have the Golden Gate Park disc golf course, it's a very beautiful course, but it's very challenging and wooded. Lots of trees and stuff. Very easy to lose the disc.
Doesn't John McLaren right here?
They have one there in the golf course where you have to pay for that one. I'm all about the freebies. But yeah, the Golden Gate Park one's nice, but like, even though, how far away are we from Golden Gate Park? Like 2 miles?
I mean, depends on traffic.
Yeah, well, we're like 2.5 miles away from it, but it takes us half an hour to get there. So
There's so many lights.
Oh my god.
yeah. So the traffic's so rough. And then we have a really nice one across the bay over in not necessarily Oakland, but over in the same area in this city called San Leandro. And that's our favorite course. And again, it's like 40 minutes away. So I feel your pain on that one. But
Nice.
man, what a sport. Isn't it fun?
Yeah, I mean, I guess it's nerdy. I don't know, like
Oh,
my life calls me a
100%.
nerd.
When you're out there, you're like, okay, so I need an understable driver, and maybe if I put a
Right.
little bit of a hyzer and that sort of thing. What's your
Exactly.
what are a couple of your favorite discs? Like, what's your main driver?
Main driver, the Hades from Discraft.
Yes, that's my main driver too. Did we just
What?
become best friends?
Yeah, I guess so.
I'll just
there's
go.
one I
I'll just
drive
leave
it
right
down
now and just have Aaron.
There's a lot of drivers out there, so I'm surprised. But yeah,
Yeah.
that one, and then I like a lot of MVP stuff, so I love
Ooh.
their hex. My
Yeah.
favorite, like mid range, and then
I haven't
got a
I haven't tried a
heavy
lot of
range.
MVP, but now that Mr. Simon Lazat's over there, I might have to
Yeah,
pick a couple up and try them out. Though
exactly.
I'm sure most of the reason why he went was like his $10 million contract he got, which is pretty cool.
Hmm.
All right,
Yep.
enough talking about disc golf. As much as I could go off on that for an entire episode.
I know.
Let's get into Proxies. So why don't you introduce yourself a little bit? Tell us a little bit about your company and what you guys sell.
Yeah. So about a couple years ago, I started Royal Tokens. It was an Etsy shop where I basically just created designs for basic lands, and then they were just my own custom designs. And I would make my own frames. I would make just everything so that I could, I don't know, customize my decks. Because I always thought the basic lands that Magic offers are a little boring with their borders. Like they have cool ones, like the
The
some of the
full art
showcase
ones.
ones are really cool. Full art ones are really cool. Like the John Avon ones are pretty classic. So I don't know. Instead of just buying those, I wanted to make my own because I just love making my own stuff. So I just decided to whip out my iPad, create a few paintings, put them on cards, and then print them out in bulk, and then ship them out to people, whoever wanted to buy them. So that was kind of the start. I think when was it? That was 2021
Okay.
when I started doing that. And then I'm also a civil engineer, so at the time I was doing civil engineering. So like I would get off work at 4:30, hopefully, and then pack like as much as I can because I was always behind. I was always procrastinating. I would pack as much as I can. I would run to the post office before 5:30,
Yeah.
and then put them in the box and pray that Etsy didn't mark it as late,
Sure.
or I don't know. It was a scramble. And then so that was about 6 months of that. I created some more basic land sets, and then I created a dual and fetch land set
Yes.
using artwork from like a really old Japanese painter. So if you have artwork that's like in a free public domain library, then you can use it commercially. So for
Nice.
about half of my stuff, I try to find, because I don't have an exorbitant amount of time to create like
To create a bunch of original art.
a bunch of original art. Yeah. So, and I just love the old vintage look too. That's
Yeah.
kind of my style. So,
Well, I think
so I found,
that's also how we kind of got introduced to your stuff. Is I think I had a targeted ad on like Instagram or Facebook or something, and for Christmas I bought Christian, I think some lands,
Yeah.
right, and then you bought
And
me
then I
some.
bought him some.
He bought so we bought each other like some, and then we also I think got your the Commander Essential bundle or whatever too. But yeah, the artwork is awesome on it. I love that. I'm partial to all the Japanese stuff. I think I got him the watercolor dual
And
land set.
I like the feel too. It's a nice stock quality. I didn't know what to expect. I was like, they look great. I was like,
Yeah, they're going to show up on computer paper.
yeah, like, oh, it's on cardboard. Cool. Like, no, they're really nice.
Yeah, 100%.
yeah, we definitely tried to find the best, or not, maybe not even the best, but the most similar, like flex wise to Magic cards. So yeah, so I guess yeah. Then after 6 months of that, I made those dual and fetch lands, and then uh, I don't think it was Hashbro at the time. I think it was still Wizards of the Coast, but
Okay.
they sent me like a cease and desist
Oh,
letter or something. Like they took down the listings from my Etsy store, and then yeah, I was like, okay, I'm sorry. What do I do now? I like tried to contact them back, and they were super corporate about it. Just like, oh well, you broke all of our policies or our copyright policies. Please read them here. So I read through them, and I was surprised at what I found. I guess like what's more so copyrighted is like their little symbols,
Sure. The little
the
tap symbol,
little
the little mana symbol or
yeah,
whatever.
little tap symbol. I think that's what got me was a tap symbol. So it's not
Bastards.
necessarily that I'm like selling custom cards that you can use for Magic.
Right. It's just that you use the
It's
little
more so like these
arrow,
little
little.
I'm
trademarks.
actually surprised
Yep.
that that's all they so that's it. They're just like, take that off. Or I guess it would have been in the information they sent you. It's like, you just can't use that symbol. And
Yeah.
that's essentially it.
I got to imagine like iconography is a big part of it, right? Like if you use the plain symbol, you know, because that's one thing we noticed on, you know, like on those Japanese ones, for instance. Now I don't read Japanese. I tried to take a semester back in college and I'm bad at it. But
Yeah.
I got to imagine it says like plains or mountain or whatever on those cards because it has the Japanese, you know, katakana symbols or whatever. And so it's like, you know, yeah, it doesn't have the little water droplet for islands, but like it 100% gets the point across, and I imagine that helps you kind of get around that.
See, me, I would have tried to like, how can I be a dick about this? Like, I just would have flipped the tap symbol the other way, or like, yeah, there you go. It's not the same. It's totally different now.
A mirror image.
Yeah.
Just use a zany font.
But I believe I got to think back to my art class days. I believe if you make a 10% difference in the artwork, you can use it. I think you can only be up to like 90% of likeness. So I don't know. Maybe just like curve it a little less or something. I don't know.
Instead of being like a like a 90-degree angle,
Yeah.
it's not like, you know, whatever the 30% or
Yeah,
whatever.
suck it, Wizards. It's
Yeah,
different.
it's like, oh yeah, it's like it's 100-degree angle. So, but people get it.
We could go to court about it.
Yeah.
Bring out the
Yeah,
little
well,
protractor. Yeah,
the thing is, like, a lot of those things are suggestions, so they're not like so black and white.
sure.
But since Hashbro now is a very big company,
Yeah,
and I'm a extremely small company, no matter what I do or say or reason through with them, it just doesn't matter because they can just do whatever they want to my store. So
All you got to
it's more
do,
so.
go on Twitter and say OGL Magic. And just put the right, and you'll get a bunch of people just getting upset about it, and then they'll have to change course.
yeah.
Done.
Well, I think that's so interesting because, you know, last week we did an episode on the open game license for Dungeons and Dragons, and I think that's a big thing with Hasbro that people are concerned about. Wizards of the Coast in general seems like, I mean, obviously they're a big corporation, right? Like don't get disillusioned, but they, you know, they also had things like the original open game license where people could use whatever they wanted for free from that one document. And now Hasbro is just like, nah, we need more money. You know, it's like when Disney bought Lucasfilm and they're like, no, we need more Star Wars, you know? So
Yeah.
I think, you know, it can be definitely a little scary especially if you get, you know, cease and desist or whatever notice. It's like, I wouldn't know what to do. I'm just like, oh, I guess I'm going to cease and or desist.
You know, I think my first gut reaction would be like, they noticed me. Like, oh my God. And then the scared, oh shit, I probably owe them money. Like,
yeah, exactly. I'm sure it's scary. So where'd you go from there? You just changed, took those symbols off of there and kept.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, they only took down half of my listings,
Oh, okay.
which was assigned to me that I guess the other half were fine. Like they could have just taken
Right.
them all down.
100%.
And I could kind of see, again, it was hard to tell. I really wish I was able to like talk to someone, but
Yeah.
I could kind of see the reasons why they took down the ones that they did.
Sure.
So from there, I just made sure moving forward, I would be as careful as possible. Just, I mean, the main thing is we make our own frames, so I'll like hand draw all of the frames. I think a lot of people copy Magic's frames for proxies,
Right.
and that's, I think that's copyright infringement. So we try to just make our own frames and
Well,
then not use their symbols. It's
yeah.
just like the perfect balance between like making sure the card represents what it's supposed to,
Right.
and making sure it's playable, but also like the really artsy version of it.
Well, I think that's,
So
that's when someone
yeah,
reaches out for something with custom artwork anyway. I think part of the point is they want something that looks different, right? So it's one thing if I like, take a picture of a different ring of some sort and make a soul ring out of it, and just have it in the magic border with the magic text and all the magic symbols. It's like, that's not quite as cool, but having a full art, like borderless or custom bordered one with like something completely different, I think that makes it really pop. Plus, when you're drawing it into your hand, it makes getting a soul ring that much more exciting.
yeah,
Like, it's already a great idea to get a soul ring in your deck, but it's like, man, now it just looks cool. And then the lands are awesome too. That's my first deck that I built myself completely from scratch. I went through all of my fancy lands that I had accumulated from opening packs over the 3-4 months or whatever. And I just put all the fancy ones, like the Kamigawa Neon Dynasty ones. I love all those ones. So the Japanese aesthetic was already one of my favorites. And so put in as many of those as I can. But again, those are just going to be basic lands, right? And basic lands only get you so far in the game of Magic, right? So I really love the dual lands, the fetch lands, the pain lands, all the ones that you offer.
I do the same when I'm making a deck. Like, I actually bought that box of the basic lands.
I did too, and I haven't even used.
That's my last resort. I'm like, all right, I don't have any other cool art lands. All right, I guess I'll just pick them from here.
Yeah, I opened it when I first got it, and I've never used it since, because you pile up a bunch of lands, and they're always going to look cooler. You got the Brothers War ones with big mechs in the background, and it's like it's fun to dress up your deck a little bit. That's why foils are so sought after, right?
I used to get excited when I got the foils, but now, like, you've seen, like, when we're trying to see the value of the cards, like, it's ridiculous sometimes. Like, why is the foil worth less? I thought the foil should have been worth more. Like,
yeah, it's printing too many foils.
yeah, yeah. I mean, I guess that's my favorite part, is just theming your deck.
Yes,
And I think that kind of resonates with our store. There's a lot less just like staple cards. I'm starting to add some more, but it's more so just like theming your deck, making it more customized, more like personalized towards how you want it to look. So
right, that's
kind of what we specialize in, I guess.
Yeah, I think like I mentioned, for Christmas, Christian got me. I think you call it like a Commander's Essential. So it had like Soul Ring, Arcane Signet, a good little selection of like Mana Rock type stuff. And I mean, to me, that's like the perfect like deck starter, mana base. And it's like, and then you can get a pack of whichever themed, lands you want, and you can guarantee that you get all the ones you want, So like for me, that was my Transformers deck. It's the one that I have all the fancy lands in and stuff. But like, some of them are Japanese themes, some of them are Brothers War themes, some of them are just like regular shinies, some of them are retro. They're mixed and matched, so they don't really match. But you can theme out a whole deck with every single land that comes up is a new cool, custom artwork one.
See, but that would work for Transformers because they are artifacts, and I think they weren't a Japanese cartoon, right? Were they?
I mean,
I don't know if it was one of the ones that was just U.S. voiced. But
yeah, who knows, huh? I think the animation was bad enough where it was probably an American cartoon. We were always a little bit high in the curve. It looks kind of like G.I. Joe.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think it's cool to dress up a deck. Now, I will say so I spoke a little bit about the CEDH deck that I'm working on. And I've, I found a service online that will print you out basically whatever proxy you want. Right. And at least from, I mean, who knows how good they're going to be. They're showing up tomorrow, so we'll see. But from their website, you can literally go through and pick out the exact Magic artwork from the cards from, whichever set you want, whatever, artwork variant they had. And then they print it out and send it to you on demand with all the text and stuff. So how does a company like that get away with doing something so blatantly, I don't know, copying Magic? Have you heard of any companies like that do that?
I have. I haven't looked into it much, but I assume Magic just hasn't found them yet.
One day they'll find them. And
I don't like.
What's the name
There's
of
a
that
lot
company, Cody? Where'd you?
yeah,
What's the
Yeah.
website?
I figure I better leave that on the down
Of, they
low.
just don't care enough.
Maybe. I mean,
Yeah.
it's
They might
incredible.
not care enough. There's a lot of Etsy stuff. I used to be a lot more like I don't know, not envious, but like, how are they getting away with this? Like, there's a lot of Etsy sellers that will just blatantly sell dual
Yeah.
lands that are just exact copies.
Well,
And
one
I don't
thing.
know. Yeah, I always thought that was a little too far.
Yeah, and plus, I mean, yes. Don't get me wrong. It'd be cool to own an original Taiga or something like that, right? Where or the Arid Mesa and all the stuff with the cool like spiral text and stuff. But to me, it's like that makes it feel more fake for some reason. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
oh, I don't. I obviously don't have this $3,000 land or whatever, but it's like the fact that I have an exact copy of it makes it feel like, ugh, this is kind of gross. But like if I have this cool piece of art that does the same thing in my deck, now for some reason to me that feels better. And speaking of that, is there any sort of like, what's the general consensus out there about using proxies in decks? Like, do you, at your friendly local game store, if you bring in an entire deck full of proxies, are people going to give you a bunch of shit for it? Or is it going to be, if you have a little bit of a mix? What have you kind of felt out there when you've been playing Magic? Because you've been playing longer than I have.
Yeah, I think I think most of these, or I guess what you're talking about is more so like player to player. There's
Yeah,
obviously like Magic to player, that's like a relationship, but this is more like just player to player
sure.
with proxies. So I think most of those discrepancies can be resolved just by having like a pre-game meeting, if that makes sense.
Right.
Or just like
Rule
before you
zero or
start
whatever.
playing. Oh yeah, that's another word for it. But just like going over, hey, I have this proxy deck that I love. It's fully customized. It like represents me. I don't know, whatever you want to reason for. Like maybe I don't have much money.
Right.
This is what I brought. Can I play with it? I think 90% of people will be like, sure, that sounds fun. Let me try to play against it. Like, what's its power level? That's probably the next question.
Right.
Because then it just doesn't matter like if it's proxy or not if you're playing against the same power level.
Right.
So I guess I'd say that's way more important than whether or not it's proxied. And then just trying to be as honest as possible
Right.
with the proxy. Like if you're trying to deceive them with proxies and then they find out like during the game, like, oh wait, that's not like the actual version of the card, or that's not something that Magic, like they kind of find out during the game, that might be alarming to some people or that might off put them. So I think it's just being honest beforehand
Yeah.
about
See,
the proxy.
when I was a kid,
Yeah.
and when I first started playing Magic, and I remember playing with my friend, I was like 10 years old, and we were playing to win cards, and I really wanted to win because he had was it Shivan Dragon or
Shivan Dragon. Yeah.
and I was like, oh my god, like I want that card, and I won, and I was so excited, and he was just like, he just gave up the card, and I was like, he didn't even seem upset, and I looked at it, I was like, this is a photo, this is a color copy, and he's like, oh yeah, it's a proxy. And that's how I learned about proxies. Like, what the fuck? I was like, this is bullshit. I was so mad. Because I was like, why is he giving up this card so easily? Like, he's as poor as I am. Like, the fact that he got this, like, and he's willing to give it up that easily.
Yeah.
I thought we were gonna have to scrap for it. And yeah, I look at that, and I was so betrayed, man. So I've from the beginning, I've had a bad relationship with proxies. Now I don't care. But as a kid, I was like, felt so betrayed, man. I was like, dude,
Yeah.
you tricked me. I was like, if you had won, I would have given up some of my real cards.
You're right. Exactly. Well, I think you bring up a good point too, is that, and I think Aaron was kind of touching on this too. I think a lot of people's attitudes towards proxies kind of will come from their first experience with them, right? If it's the first time they see a proxy is when someone curb stomps them with their CEDH Yawgmoth deck that just turn 2 wipes them, right? And it's like, and they're all printed out proxies with custom art and stuff like that. Or like in your case, we're playing 4 cards, like we're trading cards, and you get a fake one, and you're giving up a real one.
Yeah, I would have given up a real one had I lost.
Then like that puts a bad taste in your mouth on proxies in general. But I think at least being a newer Magic player, to me it just seems like such a great tool because, like, say I do want to I want to go to a CDH tournament and like I have to have 100% real cards. I'm not going to go out there and spend thousands of dollars on the real stuff if I don't like how the deck plays.
Yeah,
right?
for sure.
So I think they offer a really cool service. And then, but realistically, most of the time I'm playing Magic, I'm playing with you or my other friend group. So I just like a deck to look cool. I think that's my main purpose for it.
See, like, and even to this day when I hear proxy, I'm like kind of like in the beginning,
right?
But like with these cards, they don't feel like proxies to me because, like, when I think proxy, I think photocopy. These are like,
and
nice
not only
artwork.
Photocopy, but like bad photocopy.
Yeah, like bad photocopy.
Like it's like off kilter and stuff,
Yeah, I mean, I think a cool proxy too is like just your own hand drawn version of the card. I think that could be fun as well. So yeah, it can. Well, there's so many cool things you can do with them.
They did a cool that kind of reminds me of that secret lair they dropped where they gave these certain cards to little kids and said, okay, draw a crater hoof behemoth.
Oh yeah.
and they draw it and it's like it's in crayon or whatever. And they released those cards where they're like stick figures, but then they had a professional artist go over it and make it into an actual like full art card, and they look great.
I don't appreciate you shitting on my crayon art, Cody. Those are my submissions that went through.
Yeah, one of them just says Christian Garcia.
Yeah,
age 36.
Put my hand on there. I just lied. That's my kids. It's adorable. Put it in.
Oh my god.
Oh, that's hilarious.
Yeah. And one thing that it's funny you bring up like all these Etsy stores that are doing like blatant photocopies essentially. And another kind of hobby that I'm into is into like miniature painting and wargaming, so like Warhammer 40,000 and whatnot. Nice. And kind of an offshoot of that, I got into 3D printing. And I think 3D printing, because it's such a new kind of industry, there's a lot of that kind of stuff going on where there's a creator who creates these STL printable files. And then you'll see people on Etsy who are just printing them out or selling the files themselves for money. It's like, oh, here's 12,000 files for $10.99. It's like, oh, okay. Well, eventually someone's going to find, the ones who are doing that stuff. And I think they're going to get the old cease and desist also. But
in particular, I think GameWorks, man, like they don't mess around.
Yeah, Game Workshop, yeah, they'll get you even if you put like Space Marine in the title, like it is down within hours. It's crazy.
Oh wow.
yeah, they don't mess around. They're not as nice as Hasbro in Wizards of the Coast. They will, the Imperium of Band is not very kind. So do you now? Let's kind of go over some of the ones you offer. Like the ones I really saw that were cool were the Japanese and the watercolor ones were kind of what struck me first. But then you had like I think you had one that a set that you could use like 3D glasses on. Is that right?
Yeah. Yeah, I learned how to do like, I forget what it's called, stereography or something, stereography.
Yeah.
Stereographic
something
images.
Like that.
Where you have like a blue. You have an image
the blue
that
and red
has
glasses.
all of the it's just blue, and then you have one that's red. Well, it's really like cyan and red.
Sure.
And then if you separate them a little bit, then the glasses kind of make the image pop out. You got to do it right though. There's like a lot of ways to mess it up, but yeah, that was fun. I don't know. I just was interested in that. I thought it would be cool to try out.
Got to pack a set of 3D glasses in your deck box. You got to shove it in there and Like, wait, guys, everyone put these on. I'm about to drop a duel.
I
Check
know.
this out.
Yeah, it's like the ultimate nerdy retro 80s thing,
Oh,
like
100%.
possible, and I love it. So
That's awesome.
yeah.
Do you have any plans for like future, future runs or sets that you're going to do that you're kind of excited for?
I'm excited to expand to do more artifacts. Like I love the blueprint style that I did with the artifacts,
Yes, those are
and
very cool.
I want to make more of those for sure. They
I,
just take a lot to draw.
yeah, I mean, they're obviously very popular because freaking Wizards of the Coast just did that with the Brothers War. They had the schematic ones, and I think yours, because they're full art and they're even more like even more detailed than theirs. There's kind of sometimes in the background they get a little scribbly and stuff. But I think
now they're even. He made Proxies and
yeah,
Wizards of the Coast.
yeah, they copied him.
They took his idea, so
Yeah.
it's even.
While they were sending you the cease and desist, they're like, God damn, you see these ones?
Yeah.
We should do something like this.
On the fine print is like, and you can't sue us.
And you can't sue us
for doing this.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I released my Japanese ones like almost 6 or 8 months before they released theirs for Kamigawa.
For the Kamigawa.
So,
Yeah.
Look, what's happening? What's happening
like,
to him?
Yeah.
Maybe.
What's happening to him is what happened to us.
It happens to us.
We
too.
throw out great ideas in the show, and then people just take it. It's the same thing.
It's with us. It's
Yeah.
mostly Marvel Studios. We'll go and we'll do either like fan casting of particular characters, or we'll do like entire plots of movies. And then a year later, it shows up, and we're like, "What the hell?" Like we talked about that. In fact, we one of our favorite ones,
the Blade one.
The Blade one, yeah. So that we recorded an episode like the week before we went to Comic-Con, San Diego Comic-Con, where they announced all this stuff, and we're doing like fan casting, like what movies should they announce? What are they going to announce this year? We could kind of take a guess, and he was like, "Oh, I think they should do Blade. I think the Marvel Universe is ready for Blade."
Yeah, I think they're ready for vampires. I think they need to start throwing in these supernatural things.
And he was like, "Who do you think they would cast?" I'm like, who they should cast is Marshall Ali, because he's like Wesley Snipes, but he's a good actor, and so 3 days, like a day or two after we put that episode up at Comic-Con, they announced it, and they announced him as the actor, and he came out on stage. I was like, "Oh my God."
We just turned to look at each other like, what the fuck?
Yeah. So we have this ongoing joke.
Crazy.
We have this ongoing joke that Kevin Feige is one of our biggest fans, and he's just like writing down all of our things. So,
I wouldn't be surprised though, like all jokes aside, if they're listening to small time shows and be like, "Hey, that's a pretty good idea."
yeah.
They're never like, no one's ever gonna believe that they came up with that.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It's like stealing all of our ideas.
Even like our friends, like, dude, we totally called. I was like, no, you didn't. Shut the fuck up. I was like,
Yeah.
no, but we did.
We did. We have it recorded and dated.
Yeah, that's awesome.
So if there was one, because I know you did like so you did the Power 9, right? The Black Lotus and all the Moxes and stuff. Is there a particular card you're looking forward to the most of making like your own edition of it?
Maybe not. I don't know. I honestly don't have too many plans right now. I kind of get inspired and then just do it.
Nice.
I mean, I have a big list of cards that I want to do, just more so like what people have requested or asked for.
Sure.
But,
You're gonna do like
I think,
a tutor one would be kind of cool. They the tutors are really hot right now with the new Dominaria remastered one. It would be cool to see like the demonic, the mystical tutor, the enlightened tutor, all those ones.
You got to bring back like the full on demon with like the was it the star or whatever?
Yeah, the pentagram.
That's the one that got taken down, right? There was one that like I know like they took away because they were like, "Oh, it's too demonic."
I don't know if it was demonic tutor. Maybe it was like dark ritual or something. There was one where like some lady is getting tortured in the background or something with a pentagram carved into her, and people were like, "This is too much."
Yeah, I remember seeing like a top 10 video of like top 10 Magic cards that they had to change the artwork or something. That was
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah.
Um,
I mean, I think those would be, if I had to pick one that that I would love to see redone, is like a set of
okay.
tutors would be pretty cool, I think. How about you, Chris?
Yeah.
Yeah, tutors would be great. See, like I'm wondering, like some
I
creature
do like
cards, but
sets,
like they
like a
would have to
set
be
of
classic
something.
ones.
What was that, Aaron?
I do like sets, like a set of cards, like
Yeah.
that. I don't know. I
What
like
they call
making
it?
art for
They
that
call it
because then,
like a cycle in Magic, like a land cycle or a tutor cycle. I think
yeah,
that's what really attracted me to your stuff was like I just wanted all the dual lands because I don't necessarily have a red white deck, but having that card is going to be useful.
Yeah,
You
for
know what
sure.
I mean? And so now I have them and I can kind of slot it in wherever I need to.
yeah,
Um,
yeah. One project I am excited about. I don't know if I'm gonna do it yet though. Is like a cube. I want to make an entire cube of cards, and I love. Have you heard of like the Robo Rosewater cube?
no, no.
I think that's what it's called. It's just completely AI generated.
Oh, that's
Yeah, so they
crazy.
took like the database of Magic cards, and
Sure.
then they created like the AI created a set based on those Magic cards. So what you get is like these crazy rules that just don't make sense. Like you can technically do them, but like
Right.
why would you do it? Like tap, like discard your hand, or no, that would be too good.
Yeah.
Like
Wheel of
you
Fortune.
know, yeah, that'd be too no, but it's just like I don't know, tap your card, your turn ends. Just like something
Oh,
super stupid like
super
that
weird.
the AI thought of.
That's funny.
Um,
That would be
so
that
That
would
would be
yeah,
fun if everyone had a deck like that.
yeah.
Probably be like an 8-hour game before someone won. But
So now
I know, yeah.
now kind of correct. I'm not entirely familiar what a cube is, but from my understanding, it's kind of like a draft box that you curate yourself. Is that about right? Or some?
Yeah, it's like a more efficient draft. And you already have the cards like and then you can I think the most common cube is like 520 or there's like 360 card cube, there's like a 520.
Okay,
They get bigger like the more players you have. And then you just shuffle up all the cards and then you separate them into packs and then you just treat it like a normal draft night.
gotcha.
Um, and then you just but you make the cubes so that all the cards kind of work together
Right, they
pretty well.
synergize a little bit.
Yeah, they synergize better than just a normal magic set.
Very
So
cool.
so yeah, I always thought it'd be cool to like make a whole set proxies, but that sounds a little daunting.
Yeah, yeah. Maybe
So
maybe maybe you work up to it. You'll be like, okay, well here,
right,
I'll do all my graveyard synergy stuff in this set, and then I'll do all my token stuff in this set. And you can kind of
yeah,
eventually you'll have a cube where it's like, oh, now you can kind of build whatever you want out of it.
that's
Um,
true.
I think that would another cool one I just thought of while we were talking about that was like all the crazy like the most annoying cards in Magic where like Smothering Tithe and Ristic Studies, all the ones where it's like you have to remind someone every time they draw a card or cast a spell, hey, you gonna
Oh,
pay the Ristic Studies, you
gotta
gotta
pay the
pay
tax.
the
Yep.
yeah, you gonna pay this, you gonna pay this. That would be a fun one. I don't even know what you would call that, but like something clever. It's just like a hand out like this.
you got to put I don't remember what the GIF is, but
Oh
it's
yeah.
Oh
someone.
yeah, that would be great.
Yep.
Because goddamn, those cards are good, but
Actually,
I
a
feel
hologram card
so
of that
bad.
would be cool. Like where you just move it and it's just like finger up, and
It's-
that way you don't have to say anything. You just show it to the person and just kind of like move it. Just
yeah. Or what's her name from the Parks and Recreation? Money, please. Yeah. Well, Aaron, it's been so fun talking to you and super interesting
Yeah.
kind of getting to know the world of proxies a little bit better. Where can people find you? Where can people find your amazing proxies out there if they wanted to order themselves some?
So the best place is our website, the Royal Speakeasy. And then we also have an Etsy store called Royal Tokens. And then our Instagram is also called Royal Tokens.
Royal Tokens was the Etsy shop too, right? It broke up a little bit.
Right. So yeah, we started off on Etsy with Road Tokens, and then after the copyright strike, I was like, probably better have my own website. So that's why I created the Road Speakeasy.
Yeah, Etsy's in there playing double
Yeah.
agent for Hasbro.
Yeah. Yeah, slightly themed to like a kind of, you know, keep it quiet.
Yeah, there you go.
You know, like
there
it's a speakeasy. It's not like a public, or it just kind of feels more exclusive, which is fun too. Like,
you
go to the speakeasy. So
yeah, and I will say, you know, like
it's fun.
It made everything really easy to find on there too, which was kind of cool. Because I mean, you know, like I said, it's one of those I think it was Instagram or Twitter or something ad, and I'm like, I don't normally click on those, but I was swiping through and I was like, oh, this looks cool. It just instantly went in there.
Nice.
So it's definitely good looking stuff. We'll put the website down in the description of the video on YouTube and on our podcast description too. So if you look down in the notes, you guys can see that in there and pick yourself up some proxies. Well, cool. Thanks, Aaron, again for coming and talking with us. It's been super fun getting to know you. And, you know, we'll have to, if you're ever up in the Bay Area, we'll have to go disc golfing and play some Magic afterwards.
I know. I was going to say that, or you can invite me as a co-host to just talk about disc golf, and we can kick Christian out.
Yeah, exactly.
I'll go hang out with Sweet Pea outside.
Yeah, maybe we'll do an entire disc golf episode, and we'll just have you on, and we'll nerd out about like, oh, did you hear about the Brody Smith and Paul Macbeth drama?
Yeah, exactly.
So
man, but I'll definitely hit you up if I'm in the area for disc golf.
Oh yeah, man. Thanks again for taking the time. We do appreciate it.
Fun. And Magic.
Yeah, exactly. And Magic, of course. We got to get a couple games of those in. We'll get your full proxy deck in here, and we'll see how crazy it is.
Yeah.
Well, thank you guys for listening, liking, and subscribing. Make sure you check out Aaron's shop down in the description. Pick yourself up some beautiful proxies there, and power up your Magic game. While you're down there, click like and subscribe. Follow us on all the social medias, and check out the patreon.com/nerdswithfriends. Christian, I'm going to wreck you so hard with my CED.
Yeah, probably for sure.
Yeah. I can't wait. And to all the nerds out there, remember, you're not alone. You're with friends. This is Nerds with Friends. Thank you and good night.
Bye.